All right, good morning. Today is Monday, June 25th, 2018, and it is 9 o'clock, and I call the Potter County Commissioners Court to order. Today we have Chris Condit from Hillside Christian Community. Chris will come forward and will stand and remain standing for
That's great. Lord God, we thank you for the incredible gift of life that you have blessed us with, that we woke up this morning to experience your creation, and that we have the opportunity to love and to serve each other in this community. God, I'm grateful for the incredible leadership that we have here in Amarillo. You blessed us with amazing individuals who are so gifted in so many different ways, and we are so grateful for their service. God, today specifically, I want to pray your words in Proverbs 2:1-8 over this gathering. God, may we accept your words of wisdom, and may we store up your commands in our hearts, because we know that they are good and true. May we turn our ears to wisdom and not to folly or lies, and may we wholly apply our hearts to understand the truth that is before us. God, you promised us that if we turn to you for understanding and insight, that we will grasp what it means to fear you and to find knowledge. So we turn to you, and we ask you to show us your wisdom and your knowledge. We lean in on you and not our own selfish ways, so that we can lead as you want us to lead. Your word says that you will make a way of success for the upright, that you will be a shield for the blameless, that you will guard the course of the just, and you will protect the way of the faithful ones. So for these leaders here today, God, may they be upright, blameless, just, and faithful in all that they do. And may we see your success through it all. God, I pray for mercy and compassion to pour through these leaders here today. I know that they'll be pressed and stressed and feel pressure, but God, may they rely on you in those moments and lead with honor and integrity, and by doing what is right, not what is easy. God, use all of us to show love and gratitude to those that we serve today, and unify this body and our community so that we can point others to you. And it's in your son's name that we pray today. Amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
All right, first thing on the agenda is recognition of minutes from June 11, 2018, and June 13, 2018. Any additions or corrections? If not, celebrate. Number 2 is vouchers. To consider and act upon the approval of the payment of vouchers processed by the county auditor's office for the period of June 6 through June 20, 2018. Check number 180897 through 181097. And wire transfers 1089 through 1095 in the amount of $1,760,552.80.
I move that we approve the locking of the wire as specified by the judge. Second.
Discussion, okay. Gary, I have a question, page 3 of 27, check number 180935. It looks like we're pairing Utah Motors. Was this, I'm assuming this is a result of the wreck that Vicki had talked about? It's been a little while now.
These are actually 3 different instances, and one of them you'll see is actual hail damage, and then you go to Chris recalls which ones they are, the other they were accidents, and our insurance is paying unfortunately.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Number 3, insurance report. Katie, anything on that?
I did just want to draw your attention to the large claim, included in the tax claims line that's at the top of the insurance report. We had discussed that large claim some time back, that it's showing on this claim line.
Thank you. Recognize number 4, treasurer's report to recognize monthly investment report and investment policy.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is just a report, correct?
Yes.
Just to be recognized, okay? And it's not the investment, it's just the treasurer's. Okay, report.
Okay, so A and B this morning, we have $13,124,947.88. And, this is last Monday's rate at 2.18. I, even texted this morning, I haven't heard from A and B for this week's interest rate, but 2.18 last Monday. Texas class, we have $10,731,587.26, and Texas class is earning 2.18. That's this morning's rate. Tex pool, we have $406.86.95, and we're earning 1.85. $406,086.95. Sorry, that was confusing. Then in text pool prime, we have $10,203,054.22, earning 2.12. And all of those are this morning's rate. So our total cash general this morning is $34,765,676.31.
Thank you.
Recognized. Number 5, emergency equipment replacement to consider for approval, transfer of $35,000 from contingency to the Santa Fe building maintenance for the emergency purchase of a chiller for the IT server room.
Good morning. This is in reference to the IT server room up there. The equipment that they have up there, basically was designed to take care of some of the heat load during the extreme cold weather months, being December, January, February. We had a lot of heat load up there due to all the equipment that was within the room. Now the equipment is older, so we elected to move forward in order to accommodate them. Their rooms were reaching temperatures of the high 80s, low 90s up there, but they will need computer equipment. So basically, we went through and purchased some equipment in order to take care of that during that time of the year, and that's what this is about.
And Mike, has anything changed? To my knowledge, there's not any net new, and we've had that server room. It's been exactly how it is for quite a while now.
It has, but they had a lot of the equipment up there, and Katie, you can speak on that if you need to. During the SO project out there, they had a lot of equipment in the room. Whether they had that equipment or not, I found out that some of my men were operating the equipment improperly up there for what we call full bore cooling. That's where we use our big chillers and our cooling towers on the outside of the building. You don't use them in 18 degrees. So that's what this is for, is to take care of it when we're real cold outside. We don't cool the building, but that room needs cooling, and this is to accommodate.
I'm just wondering what brought it on, if it was an assessment you were doing of, as it relates to the property, if someone was complaining, if.
Well, they most definitely were complaining, they needed to, and Commissioner, I found out that some of our employees operate some equipment.
Okay.
It's important that the mothership be nice and comfy.
Yes. And you're proposing this come from contingency?
Yes.
This has already been done, right?
Yes, sir.
And the balance of contingency that would be left after?
After this would be $258,000.
Thank you.
I move we approve the transfer of $35,000 for contingency to the Santa Fe building maintenance for the emergency purchase of a chiller for the IT server.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor, raise your hand. 5-0, thank you. Number 6, Eagle Tree Community request for no bicycle riding on Valley Road. To consider and act upon approving the posting of no bicycle riding signs on Dow Road as requested by residents of Eagle Tree homeowners. Mr. Did you want to get up and talk about this? Or did you want?
Oh, I can introduce it. A few months ago, Mr. Callaway contacted me with a request and copies of some of the email traffic that had been going on within the homeowners association, requesting that no bicycle riding, if we could put up signs or something to stop bicycle riding on Dow Road. And I think it's a good idea. If you've ever been on Dow Road, it's very narrow. It's the only way in and out of Eagle Tree. And, we've already had one person killed on a bicycle there. And, if a bicycle and two cars are coming, there's nowhere for the bicycle to go. And so, anyway, Leland, you can add to that if you'd like.
Thank you. Down Road is fairly short. It begins down there near Krause Nursery, it goes north 3 miles. There's no other down road until you go south of Hollywood Road, and then it begins again southbound. And, there's 2 miles of it. The first mile and a half is pretty flat. It does have a grassy area where in emergency, somebody could jump off the road. The lanes are 11 feet wide, so there's not a lot of room to get over. But then we have 3 dips as you come back up into Eagle Tree. The last dip is really deep. You go down, and there's rails on the side. I think I have a picture in there, the last page there someplace. And it's got rails in there, so there's absolutely no place to go if a car comes in. And this year already, we've had a couple very near misses. One incident, the gal was driving home and came over the hill and saw the bicycle slammed on the brakes. The only problem is someone was right behind her and almost got hurt. Now, the signs are up, and whether they can be enforceable or not, hopefully they'll help somebody to not make the dumb move right on that road, because there's a very good likelihood they could keep them.
So you already have signs up?
They put them up for us. And,
How prevalent is the bicycle riding on that road?
during the summer months, we're kind of a hilly area, so bicyclists likes to come out and try it. They could ride it within our community, the speed limit is 35, and they could ride it in the hills, and they're okay. Please don't ride it on the way in.
How many people are against the bicycle riding?
We've got a lot of them commenting on our Facebook page. I've had no negative comments.
Oh, good, so everyone's in favor.
Everybody that's commented on our Facebook page. You know, we're a fairly small community. We've got about 150 houses on our side, on the east side. In Two Deer Trail on the other side, they probably have another 50, 60 houses over there. So we're, you know.
Have the signs stopped any of these bicycle
I haven't
riding?
seen anybody since then.
Okay. Making problems, thank you.
On the way in here this morning, I happened to be listening to, Tim to Glenn Beck briefly, and he was talking about, God's given us the right to be stupid. We don't have the right to tell people they can't be stupid. But, that's a comment that a lot of people make, it's just stupid to ride on this road. So, we'd really like to leave the signs up, whether the sheriff has to enforce them or not, I really don't care. But hopefully it'll help somebody to think of the end twice.
So we've had the signs up for approximately.
About a month.
And where did those signs, did they get printed by us and installed by us?
Yes. We have,
Just without court approval, or I'm just trying to understand that process.
yeah, it was without court approval.
Right.
And the reason we brought it to the court was because the sheriff department and county attorney felt like we need to be sure if we want to put up those kinds of things, we need to make sure we can enforce them. It's my fault, I guess, because I said, let's do it if the community wants it. And so,
So in the month that they've been posted,
I haven't seen any comments on our Facebook page about bicycles.
Sheriff, have you seen, you've experienced any, traffic, was it usual? It's gotten much better out there.
Scott, do we have a procedure that we need to go through?
Well, in order to make it enforceable, you do one of three possible ways. You can delegate your authority to regulate in this regard to Sebastian, or you can undertake it yourself. You either need to publish notice in the newspaper or post signs out there conspicuously warning that a regulation will be imposed that will potentially subject violators to criminal penalties, potentially a fine of up to $200.
I guess I'm a little confused when you said delegate that to Sebastian so what is Sebastian's role within that, as far as regulating?
Posting signs.
So just, which we already do.
But you're saying add to those signs, language.
Well, you wouldn't add to the signs, you would either publish in the newspaper or post a sign saying the Commissioners Court intends to adopt as a regulation that no bicycle traffic will be allowed on that road. And once the Commissioners Court adopts that regulation, notice having been given, then it is enforceable as a finable offense.
Right now, the sheriff doesn't have any authority
Right.
to issue
Right now,
tickets.
we wouldn't be able to access those work.
And we would need a formal document to adopt the policy, right?
Sure, well, you can adopt an order as to that particular road, that would be a regulation specific to that road.
We need to do that.
You know, according to what he's telling us and what the guys are saying, there's not been the bicycle or traffic out there. I asked him, I said, are these people from your community? He said, no, it's the people from elsewhere.
It's the
They're coming
cyclists.
out there to ride just because of the hills out there.
But we need to authorize the signs we're up now anyway.
That'd be, you can ratify that today. That's in accordance with what the court wants to do.
I mean, we're not, we're just interested in people not getting killed on our road.
It's
Jeff Tankers-
safety was a big concern.
Jeff Tankersley lost his life out there,
Yes, he did.
and that's our only way in, so there was probably a good 8-9 hours, nobody could get out of Eagle Tree.
So the appropriate and easiest way to do that this morning would be to
Ratify the signs, then it's up to you. You can either go ahead and provide for notice to be given, or if the problem isn't ameliorated by these signs, and you feel like you need to come back and impose a regulation that's enforceable in criminal court, you can either publish notice or post a sign out there and then adopt the regulation, officially saying.
Right now, we can ride them if they're not riding next to the curb line or whatever.
Right, that's
They're out
just
in the
a
middle of the
matter of
road, I mean, that's
saying
just general. But like I said, the sign seems to have taken care of the issue that was at hand.
So I guess maybe the more appropriate thing to do is to post it, publicate it, newspapers.
I don't know if we need to go that far right now. I think we just need to ratify the signs that are posted now and see if the problem, see if it works.
See if it works. It appears to be working.
We're not interested in getting anybody some tickets or anything like that, we just want them to be sensible. And to realize that this may be a flat area you're riding into, but very quickly you're gonna get into a very dangerous area where you could lose your life.
The problem is they like to ride early morning or late in the evening, and that's the time those people are coming and going. You get two cars out there and a bicycle on the other side, somebody's gonna get killed again, and that's the whole idea.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not hearing any discord around the placement of the signs, it's just more, general awareness for those that may not be on the Facebook page, right? And I'm a cyclist and I get out there, so how would I know that, even if we're not planning
Well, a
on.
cyclist coming in wouldn't be on our Facebook page anyway, it's for our homeowners
Okay.
only.
So the general public, it would be hard to know,
It would be
other than the sign that's now out there.
Right.
It probably wouldn't hurt procedurally to at least post it, not saying we're implementing the penalties or anything like that, just that the court took action. Because I do think that is a road that is heavily utilized in the cycling community.
I think it's always good to err on cautious and safe side, for the kids a little bit.
Well, I know when I was coming in, and listening to the radio this morning, they were talking about this issue on the agenda.
Oh, we were?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And our TV guy's here, so.
Just for you.
You didn't ride your bicycle.
Never mind. Where's that walk?
We just wanna keep it simple.
Yeah.
We don't wanna complicate it, but we wanna help people stay alive. That's really what we're interested in. We're not interested in him having to go out there and give him a bunch of tickets.
So you're recommending the KISS method.
He's having to keep it simple. Thank you.
Move we approve the, posting of the no bicycle riding signs on Dow Road.
Second.
Just to confirm, so we're not posting, we're just leaving the signs, that's what your motion is.
For the time being, see how it goes.
I would rather err on the side of posting myself, just as a matter of caution, so that when we track back. I guess it also depends upon how much, that involves the expenditure of the court to do so. But,
Well, to be clear, you wouldn't need to post unless you were preparing to actually implement a regulation. The signs are already there.
Signs are there.
I'm sorry, I could put a sign underneath saying approved by Commissioners Court, fines up to $200 or possible fine, just a small sign underneath. If that.
Is that legal, Scott?
Well, if you're gonna have notation of fines, I think you'll want to go ahead and adopt the regulation. So you would need to post this, and the reason I suggest posting a sign is I think it may actually be cheaper than running an ad in the newspaper.
Oh, yes.
So you would simply post a sign saying Commissioners Court, Clark County Commissioners Court is considering adopting a regulation banning bicycle riding on this road with possible fines of up to $200. Yeah.
Considering,
yeah, that's the key word.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
I have a motion.
then you would probably put the date of the, you include the date of the hearing.
we can amend it if you want to amend the motion.
If you want to amend that,
I would like to, have that motion amended to reflect, that language of, not necessarily, considering, time.
Yes.
okay, just to be specific, would you like to say that again? For the clerk, not for me.
Okay, but church made the.
I know.
Yes,
We're, that is
Now
off the table.
he's making an amendment to the motion.
The amendment specifically specifies that,
Y'all could just vote on the first motion and then go to the second.
Yeah.
That would be easier.
Vote on the first one? Okay, okay, I have a motion and a second on the one that Commissioner Church.
Which is to just adopt the
To
signs.
just adopt the signs.
Approve placement of the signs on there.
Okay. We can do that, yeah. Motion and second, all in favor, raise your hand. 5-0. Okay. And you want to amend it?
I would move that we post signage that states Clark County Commissioners have adopted an ordinance banning bicycle riding on Dow Road.
Actually, let me say this. I just went back and looked at the statute that I was actually smart enough to print off and bring it with me this morning. A hearing is not necessary on this unless somebody complains and wants a hearing on it. So I think in light of that, if you wanted to, you could go ahead and enter a regulation banning bicycle riding. So that might be subject to having to have a hearing later on if somebody complains. But if you do that, then Sebastian could go ahead and post the fine, possible fine of up to $200. If you wanted to go that route.
Is that?
Okay.
Okay, so currently we have motion to post signage that Clark County Commissioners Court adopt an ordinance of no bicycles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on Dow Road.
With a possible fine of $200.
Will that cover it?
Yep, sure.
Okay. I'm just,
Okay, that's the motion, but I need a second.
I'll say.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand.
thank you.
5-0.
All about you.
See what you did, Leland? See what you did?
I'm always stirring something up.
I know you're going. All right, number 7, Potter County Strategic Plan. To consider for approval and adoption of Potter County Strategic Plan developed with intent of planning for long-term growth, goals, and future outlook of the county. I was gonna keep that. Shannon, did you have everybody on this?
It's I just made sure. I was there yesterday.
But there was not much of a box.
Okay. I bet we have what we.
Yeah, we,
I got one.
good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Nice cover, like that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to start by congratulating and commending, the Commissioner's Court, for undertaking the strategic planning process. I think it's been a fantastic process. I think it's really unique to find a Commissioner's Court that's running the county, such as you guys, to have that inclination, to want to come together as a body, to assess the needs, to set the goals, and to plan for the long-term future, long-term success of the county. So I just wanted to start by commending you guys and thanking you guys for making our job pretty easy. It's been about a year-long process. We started the process with, 6 working group meetings. That came together over the course of several months to look at all the different areas. I think we had 8 different topics, 53 different specific issues that we came together to give content definitions to, sort out the background, and really flesh out those issues. At the end of those working group meetings, we put together a 70-page preparation document, which was meant to kind of steer the strategic planning committee in identifying and knowing what some of the background is on each one of those issues. That preparation document is Exhibit A in your strategic plan. After we finished with the strategic planning preparation document, we went into the strategic planning session. We had 16 committee members, most of you guys here in the Commissioner's Court and in the courtroom here today were a part of that process. We had 2 full strategic planning sessions that lasted just about a day, 6 to 7 hours each one. In those 2 strategic planning sessions, we went through the full gambit. We created a vision statement for the county. Went through a SWOT analysis for the county. And then we went through and we got through as many different strategic topics as we could to find solutions or potential options for addressing some of the issues that the county's facing. Again, I think it's always important to reiterate, that there is no commitment by this commission to undertake each one of these strategies. These strategies are just meant to serve as a guide, as a potential options for you guys as you all come across these situations and want to tackle them, that you have a series of options or strategies that you can adopt should you choose to do so. So like I said, I think the strategic planning process was a success. I think it was a really fun process to sit down with you guys and really understand some of the issues that you guys are facing and really work towards solutions that hopefully y'all can adopt in the future. So you've got your strategic plan in front of you. I know this body has spent countless hours going through and reviewing and providing feedback on this document. So hopefully we've got it squared away and everything how you like it. Answer any questions you guys have.
Let me just start with this. I want to thank you and Kyle for everything that you guys did. I was, I guess, a little surprised at how well everyone came together and the passion that they showed for what they do. We talked about that. It's everybody here, every local official department head, they're passionate about what they do and it showed. So I want to thank you guys for putting it on together.
Meeting was down that fast, we were somewhat, a little bit resistance at first, but, as we got into it and engaged, and we got a chance to see also what all the other departments, all can do within this county. So I think we gained a lot of fun appreciation for that.
I agree, and to your point, Judge Tanner, I do agree with all that passion really did come out in what everybody is doing to make Potter County a success, and hopefully that's reflected there in the strategic plan.
A couple of just housekeeping things to add. So this, when we started this was originally that this would help be our working guide and to think past one budget year. Again, not committing to anything, but just really hearing the perspective of our peers across the table and what they were wrestling with and vice versa. And so as we prepare for budget this coming year, I have been working with Dustin for a potential interlocal agreement, a much smaller scale version of this, but just so every quarter we have something calendared that we can post it, similar to what we experience, maybe a half a day. Maybe every year, if we wanna tackle 1 to 2 things on this list, we will not finish this list probably in our lifetimes, that's the truth, right? But just so that it doesn't turn into a document and just, sits there and doesn't have life into it. That's kind of some of the housekeeping pieces moving forward, so that we continue to address some of these topics. And some of it, I think we're already doing, that's organic, and it's just part of our day-to-day planning and for the budget year. And I would echo the sentiments to say thank you so much. This has been a good process to go through. And each one of you who participated in those long days.
It wasn't so bad though.
Yeah.
I mean, it went by, but probably not.
Well, I know you warned me beforehand, you don't like those long meetings.
I don't like those long meetings, but it turned out to be,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, it wasn't so bad.
I think it was, yep, I enjoyed it, I enjoyed working together. For you and Kyle heading up this project, this, for the documents are good, thank you.
Right, well, I will follow up with a motion to approve the adoption for the Potter County Strategic Plan developed with the intent of long-term growth, planning, growth, goals, and future outlook of the county.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, raise your hand. 5-0.
Thank you guys, really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Number 8, local government corporation to hear an update on the LGC commissioner.
This will be quick, Judge. We met June 20th, 11:30, so last week. A couple of things, just housekeeping. The parking garage is obviously fully functional. The MPEV, what Jerry reported ahead of schedule, they are getting the bowl design, which is about 90% complete. You can probably see that as you drive across. But they are moving ahead of schedule, even with the rain that we have got, the rain that we've got. The drainage is ahead of schedule as well. He did introduce Tony, who I think is Director of Sales, I may have that title incorrect, for the new team. So he was there, communicated that he and his family were now in the city, excited to join a part of the city on this new initiative, and opened the invitation if anyone would like to take a tour, or if you're learning all that good stuff, but to take a tour of what's going on the inside. So if you'd like to do that, I just wanted to extend that invitation. Other than that, that's really kind of the gist of the meeting, but I did want to just report back to the board.
Can you give us a heads up on sod poodles?
I'm staying away from that conversation, Judge, I have nothing to do with that. Other than what was communicated is, that is the buzz that they're trying to generate, and what was reported to the LGC is it's doing exactly what it was meant to do. I think that's perspective, and when I get a call, say, here's where you need to call, and not back down.
So, the tours that, you mean at the court too, or, in all courtrooms?
Yeah, or I'll forward the contact information, and feel free to contact him directly, what works with your schedule, that's probably the easiest, and so I'll forward that along, but the invitation was extended, so I definitely wanted to hand that on.
Okay, number 9, tiers 2, to hear an update on that.
So we have Mr. Freeman with the city, if you'd like to join us, and he will give us really update. Tiers 2 did take its first official action this past Thursday, and so Andrew's gonna walk us through that. But a quick item for the court, Judge Sermon did join us at the last Tiers 2 meeting, communicated with her last successful election. She will be stepping down from Tiers 2. So what I would expect, she was a fairly new appointee by this Commissioner's Court. I would expect an agenda item next court of who we would like to fill that seat. So I've asked her, she'll just give us a little letter, something very informal, just so we can recognize it on the court level, but be thinking of who else we would like in that seat.
Thank you for having me this morning. Each of you should have on your dais a copy of the letter we sent over, just covering the overview of the project. This is exciting. This is the first project or request that we've had in the East Gateway tiers since we started a couple of years ago. It's a incentive agreement with Route 66 Development LLC, represented by Deepak Patel. What he is proposing is a event venue space, 30,000 square foot space, not including the surrounding pre-function area. It's located at 7775 East IH 40, which is right between the Big Texan and the new hotels we developed Hampton Inn future. It's a holiday flag that's going directly behind that one. The development of the structure meets the goals of the East Gateway Tiers project and financing plan by developing entertainment venues within the Tiers boundary, which will support the hotels and the restaurants located in the zone. So this meets the goals of the Tiers board. They requested the incentive because, this is a new zone, it's also on the east side of town, it's one of those things where they can use, some support, especially as large a project this is. This would be one of our largest event center space, and directly adjacent to 247 hotel rooms, which will definitely benefit, what he's able to accomplish with this, venue. So the terms that the board recommended approving were a 10-year property tax reimbursement, which is with a step-down approach. Year one would be 90%, and it would go down 10% each year, with the final year being 5%. Depending on where it fell on the tax rolls, if it was a $6 million property, for example, it would be about $335,000 or so over those 10-year periods, not accounting for growth in values or changes in property tax rate. So just to give an idea of what that would be valued at. And as y'all are familiar with Tiers number 1, part of our agreement in the ordinance is to come to the Potter County Commissioners and get your feedback and comments before final approval goes to City Council in a few weeks. So if I can answer any questions, or if you have any comments that I can pass along, or you're welcome to, again, after the meeting, pass it along.
On the motion, we also made a contingency on access to the funds, that the CO, the certificate of occupancy, which I have to say always out loud, because I think COs and I think bonds in my brain, but that the project has to be done a year, the CO has to be retained a year after the council takes action. And that contingency was really kind of put in place to make sure the project got fully functional in the near future, since it is the first project going up. Mr. Patel owns the land now, so that land is kind of free and clear. It is raw land. I'm sure there's dirt work and things that'll have to happen. But there's no ownership kind of change happening, so we felt like that contingency was a good number to make sure that project got off the ground. So that was a little bit different on the motion, so another comment.
We had 7 members there, and it was unanimous to approve. And then just a little background on why the step-down approach. I think you're gonna see more deals, not only Tiers 2, but maybe Tier 1 and other similar deals. But this way, it helps him on the front end, get the project started, get it operational, but it also on the back end is less, which is important for Tiers number 2, because the financing plan had a lot of infrastructure and athletic facility proposed for those funds. So this helps him early on, but in the end, it'll help the Tiers board accomplish what it
Is this mainly an athletic facility?
No, this is for more meeting space and weddings and large gatherings. Entertainment.
And on the last page of that handout is a picture where it's just a conference center. But the 30,000 square feet is what makes this property unique, and that it's dividable space is what makes that unique.
Was that part of the original plan?
He had it part of his plans, and it was, the Tiers had goals for hotels and entertainment facilities, not specifically for a venue, but he kind of had in his plans something
I
similar.
don't think I've heard of it.
Comments, just forward those.
All right, thank you so much.
Something we need to approve today.
Really the way that the agreement works is, comments or feedback Andrew will take and then take to the city council. So I don't think you need formal approval from the board.
Comments, just let me know, and then I'll pass them on.
Thank you.
If you've got a personal comment, you can do that. You don't have to say it today. You can write one.
Okay, number 10, formal bid renewal, to consider and act upon renewing formal bid. Number 1092-14, transportation and storage of human remains with ABD mortuary service for an additional 1-year term from 8/1/2018 through 7/31/2019. Pricing is unchanged from previous contract. I do not have anything in my packet about it. Is there anything, or do you know? Okay.
Pretty straightforward. I mean, it's just a standard renewal with all price change.
It's just renewal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all prices and everything will remain the same, but it's here to answer any questions y'all may have.
I did send an email out to all the JPs, just to make sure that they were satisfied with it.
Yes.
And they are.
Okay. You guys.
Thank you for your service to us, and you do us a great job.
Could y'all just introduce yourselves?
Yes. I'm Justin, I'm the office manager at AD's.
Richard Sanders.
They do all of our cremations.
Unfortunately, you've been fairly busy.
Yeah.
Right, I make a motion that we approve formal bid 1092-14, transportation and storage of human remains with A&D mortuary service for an additional year, 8/1/18 through 7/31/19.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. Number 11, law enforcement contracts, project landscape. Consider and act on awarding formal bid number 1165-18 to Custom Gardens, lowest evaluated vendor in the amount of $117,000 on the landscaping of the Old Town County Sheriff Department Administration Facility.
This is the last phase of our project. The purchasing department, put it back out for bid as, for y'all's direction. The two bids that was presented right here, Chris, would you like to speak on that?
Yeah, it was, we put it back up to bid, recalled everybody to find out that some of them couldn't attend the last one because there was something going out at the ball field. So it was a little they weren't able to make it. But we did get the two bids. One came in at $117,000 from Custom Gardens. Tri-State came in at $158,000. Turned out that it looked like Tri-State had more subcontractors that were involved, which kind of increased their price a little bit. Custom actually did the work out here, correct, Mike?
They did the courthouse lawn and the restoration.
So why is the huge difference, I guess, 50% of the days, the work days, custom for indicated 30 days, Tri-State, 60 days?
I think the biggest thing would be the subcontractors.
That's a general contractor, picking subs to do.
What are we gonna get for our money here?
What you will be receiving over there once the property is cleared, the demolition slated to be completed August the 12th, landscaping August the 13th. We will come in with a frontier fescue like you have out here on this lawn, just to create a lawn area. You'll have an irrigation system there. We went through and designed it to put in bollards, filled with concrete with a cable system to keep people from actually driving onto the property. You do have gate entries like you do at a school, where you kind of have to go in to ride a motorcycle inside of it. We do have an area large enough where you could pull a vehicle onto it if you had an event out there to get into it. There's no electrical. This is just a temporary situation to determine whatever happens on the future in that property. We're not touching the city property, upgrade sidewalks or anything like that.
This includes soil preparation.
Yes, sir.
Leveling or whatever else that you do.
Yes. And regarding the funding for this, I did, one of the contingencies I'm responsible for, I've already taken the total out. You've got, still around $333,000 left in the contingency in the project to pay for. I mean, it's already taken out. I've got another contingency of $152,000, so you've got plenty of funds to go through this.
And the need just to, help me understand the need for this. Let me ask you that way better.
I think it's more of not just leaving a dirt parking lot there and then it becomes weeds and then we have to constantly go there and maintain the weeds, keeping them cut down. I think the bollards fence system is definitely required to where you just keep people off the property.
You see any use for that property in the future? I'm talking about, like, maybe people want to have a little party under it.
I think they could. I mean, it'll just be a grass area out there like they probably want to use our lawn for. I don't know if you want to just say first come, first served, I guess that would be up to y'all, but it's gonna be a nice little grass area when we're all finished. It's a little park area. You know, people driving through and stuff like that.
Slip and slide. Are we adding any trees or anything?
No, sir, we're keeping one tree that's there. We didn't want to get into any of the requirements by the city as far as what they require to get by. It's just a temporary solution until we determine what happens on the property.
But when we say temporary, I mean, we're at least talking 2 to 3 years, right? Like just loosely, when you talk about what's happening, because I think what you're saying is whatever we do with the district court's property will drive what happens to that. So I think about the time to get that off the ground and even to get a construction off the ground, I'm feeling like 2 to 3 years. I'm just trying to get my hands around timeline of how long that property will be. Yeah, I would say minimum.
3 is 5.
Yeah, I would say 10, but I'm just kidding.
I'm saying 6 months.
Okay.
Alright. Personally, I think it's just being a good neighbor in downtown. To leave a vacant dirt lot just for what's happening here would just really be a mistake.
Would be the
I
world's
just think
largest
we have to do
kitty litter.
And Commissioner, I think that's a really good point, so to echo being a good neighbor, I'm surprised that since this is so low cost that we didn't take this to tiers 1, because green space is a direct, initiative of that plan, that I feel like tiers 1 is lacking kind of holistically. That even if they can't cover, aggressively, but tiers 1, I would see where there could potentially be some dollars for something like this. It's not a high ticket item, I mean, in terms of a big project, right? I mean, it's,
I don't think we can do that, can we? I mean, does anybody know?
Andrew would know.
I think we're more into streetscape than landscape.
Well, but this is a unique piece of property.
Tiers, if they had money available, of course, they might be interested in something like, benches and more of the hard materials that can help them make it more.
But the fence that we're talking about,
Maybe that, I don't know if that fence would meet their guidelines standards. It sounds like more of a security.
Just keep people.
I'm just saying, I think that there would be a general interest, and I feel like we as an entity have been a really good partner to that conversation. And it would be nice to at least ask for our taxpayers, and it's their dollars.
Either way, it's taxpayer.
Yeah, either way.
This is really debt, this is debt we took on for this project, so it's really debt we incurred.
It's still taxpayer.
Right, but it's, yes,
The,
semantics.
bollard fence system we're putting in out there, there's no maintenance on it, that's Galvin and not for us, so we look at it from a maintenance standpoint.
So we are not taking it to tiers 1, and we're gonna take it out of contingencies, to at least ask.
Well, I don't see why I heard to ask, I don't know if we can say, take it to at this particular time.
I think the issue today is if we can approve the contract, at least we have the contract locked up. What are you gonna do with that?
Yeah, but kind of from a housekeeping perspective, once the project's, already in motion, there's not really a lot of initiative to say, yeah, let's do that, let's help them get that off the ground, because we're doing it regardless. I'm just saying how.
Since Andrew is here.
Said if there was money.
If there's money, that's the big thing, because tier 1.
Depends on the
really-
project.
It might be better in the 5-year time period when I'm talking about what actually happened. That might be a better conversation.
Okay,
We
thank
might
you.
have more money then.
Oh, didn't mean to put you on the spot on that topic, thank you.
I move we approve the, formal bid 1165-18 to Custom Gardens, for the landscaping at the old Potter County Sheriff Department administrative site for $117,000.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor, raise your hand.
Just a quick clarification, I'm sorry, the funds are coming from contingency, I'm assuming that's
Construction.
construction, right, okay, I'm just making sure.
It's all good.
Thank you, Judge, I didn't mean to interrupt your motion.
You wanna give a vote? Anybody vote? Everybody did? Good, thank you. Item 12, employment items, to consider and act upon the following employment items: road and bridge, the new employment of Nora Rice as summer board as a replacement for Chancellor Nunn effective June 6, 2018, and maintenance and facilities resignation of Lawrence Trent Allen as mechanic technician effective June 8, 2018.
Will we accept the employment items as presented?
Motion and a second, all in favor? Clark County projects, monthly day night.
No, ma'am.
Jail report, we have 568 people in our jail, 89 of those are female, and none are in any other county jails. 85% of felons, 10% of misdemeanors. And then 15 county insurance items, or anything on that, Chris?
Yep.
Number 16, executive session, number 17, agenda items, and number 4.
It's a question rather than maybe an agenda item, but at one time there was discussion about the tour to the crossbar. Is there any action on that? You know, the city council took their, so I was wondering, can we do it as a court?
Yes, we can, but I thought we were gonna go with the city.
They had to split it up, they couldn't take everybody at once, that's what she told me, so.
Oh, okay, well, we'll look into that. I'll put that on the next.
Everybody went, so we were stuck. Payroll.
Which, by the way, is Wednesday.
I have two agenda items if I may, Judge, before you go with that. So the tiers 2, board appointment, I asked Judge Sherman for an official letter, that we can recognize at the court. And then I know there's some conversation going on with Mr. Mike Fuller on the stadium. Tad is involved in that, that'll be on the next agenda item as well. And more of, access to, is it, I'm trying to remember exactly the topic, Judge, what Mike Fuller's working on.
Oh, they have done so
Right,
much work,
but
they want to dig a well.
Dig the well. So that'll be a topic for next time.
We'll talk about that. Okay, is there anything else? If not, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.